Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Hairy Muppet, and we're getting back into the round of 16 of the DreamHack. It is game number 2 between HyuN and the STC, and we do have HyuN as our red Zerg player up the top right side of the map, and we do have our blue Terran player, STC, down the bottom left side of the map. And I will apologise because I forgot to read off some information from STC last game. At the first series, for the first time you see him in the tournament, usually try and tell you where they're from and who they're playing for, but I forgot to do it for STC. He is a South Korean player, and he does play for Complexity Gaming, so there you go. Very, very awesome. And yeah, he kind of got manhandled quite a bit last game. He tried to get some early economy up, but HyuN doing a fairly good job actually annoying the SCV, building that with one of his drones. But after that, I mean, HyuN just went for a really, really early third base around the 5-6 minute mark. Went nuts on the economy. Around the 7-8 minute mark, started building a crap load of roaches and lings, and just went nuts. Now, STC had a couple of Hellions, but he was not expecting anywhere near the amount of forces that HyuN sent at him. And I really got to say here that I think HyuN is just straight up the better player in this matchup. Based on what I saw in Game 1. Now, I'm not going to say 100% that HyuN is better, but, I mean, the last game wasn't even close. HyuN just basically steamrolled him, and my guess is that HyuN is just going to continue to roll on straight into the quarterfinals. I do not think he's going to be meeting a significant challenge here. I don't think that there's much danger of HyuN getting knocked out of the tournament, but as I said, I'm not going to call it here. I'm not going to just quit casting this replay, because anything can happen. We may indeed be going into an ace match, and yeah, I mean, let's just check it out. Yes, STC going for that early command center once again. He definitely likes this build, and HyuN choosing not to harass this SCV. Maybe HyuN assuming that he's not going to go for it, but he did just see it with his Overlord. That's got to be like the fastest Overlord ever, or maybe this is just a tiny map, because this guy got here in no time at all, man. He must have, I don't know how he did it, but yes, very, very awesome. And yeah, it's going to be some good stuff. We'll see if STC can make a change in his play. I think, as I said last game, I think he needs to push into Marines Marauders. I think he needs to push very early into Marines Marauders. I'm thinking about a 7-8 minute push. Maybe he needs to get like a couple more barracks. Start thinking about a 7-8 minute push with a decent amount of Marauders. Now, I mean, decent amount of Marines as well, but I'm thinking like 3 or 4 Marauders if he can get them out. I don't think he can. Maybe 2. Maybe 2 Marauders and a bunch of Marines. Send them in there. Start taking stuff out. He may not be able to take HyuN out, but he can snipe some queens, and that will give him some sort of advantage in this game. But I don't know, man. He's going for the Hellion push, and this is basically, I've seen a ton of Terran players do that. They go for the reactor, they go for the factory, and I don't know, man. I mean, against Zerg players, it puts pressure on the Zerg player. It puts pressure on him. But I don't know. I'm starting to not really dig the Hellions anymore, because I mean, they've been used every single tournament, every TVZ I've seen, almost every one. You get a couple of Hellions out of the barracks. I mean, it's a very swish build. I mean, you get the factory, you get the reactor, you switch it over, you get the 2 Hellions out nice and fast. It's like, oh my god, I've got 2 Hellions at the 6 minute mark. It's so freaking awesome. But the fact is, every Zerg player out there knows how to deal with it right now. It's like page 1 of the ZVT handbook. How to deal with the 2 Hellions at the 6-7 minute mark. I mean, it's basically nobody. It's not surprising anybody anymore. It's just there. And if HyuN didn't see the Hellions coming right about now, he would probably start to wonder if STC had just fallen asleep, because that is how standard that tactic is right now. And the thing is, when you're STC, when your back is up against the wall, when you are facing a player who's as scary as HyuN, once he gets his bases up, you got to start thinking outside the box. You can't just do what you did the previous game. You can't just go standard and just stick to your build. You've got to pull something out, and Hellions is not it. Hellions is not going to win him the game. And the problem is that, yeah, I mean, look at this. He hasn't built a single aggressive unit. I think he's got 2 Lings, but this is exactly what he basically did last game. Maybe a little bit later, but not too much. I think he's put some emphasis on the upgrades as opposed to just going for a ton of units, and he's gotten the base out a little bit later than he did last game. So this is a little bit later, but still I think around the 12-minute mark that HyuN could be quite capable of pushing in, and he'll give STC some time. He's getting some different stuff. He's getting out some Widow Mines, so that should be good. But right now it's just the Hellions, and yeah, he's they've basically done nothing. He's got 6 Hellions that he's used for scouting duty so far, and HyuN he sees the Hellions. He's feeling confident. HyuN is feeling the confidence right here, and he's getting a 4th base. He just wants to he wants to leave no doubt that he is the better player in this series of games. And if he gets the 4th base up, STC doesn't see it, or if he sees it and he doesn't shut it down, then I don't think there will be any doubt that HyuN is the better player here. STC has got to find out about this 4th base, and he's got to start getting the drops going. He's got to get the left, right, left, right, left, right drops going in there, constantly harassing both of these bases, constantly cutting down on the drone numbers, and yeah, that is what I'd really like to see, and I think that's definitely within his power to make that work. And HyuN is leaving himself open up to that sort of strategy, the left to right drop action. He's definitely opening himself up to it, but he's confident. He thinks he can take it, and I'm not sure I disagree with him, because I think he probably can do that. But yeah, as I said, it's leaving SDC with that opportunity, and he does not know about that 4th base. He actually hasn't scouted in to this area yet, but yeah, I'm not sure he's too interested about this sort of stuff. He's actually getting a macro hatch, so he feels like his economy is going to be really awesome. And we do see a whole bunch of stuff here. So we're going for heavy triple M, we're going for a starport, and HyuN is letting STC get a little bit further away, get some stuff going. Now this attack, it did some damage here, probably roasted about 4 or 5 drones, but he lost all 6 Hellions, so he did some damage, but definitely not cost effective, I would say. So yeah, he's got to be doing a little bit better than that. But I guess the Hellions weren't real. I don't know. I mean, you don't throw units away unless you have to, and I think he probably could have saved those. He might not have killed as many drones, but he probably could have saved those. And here we go. Dropship moving around, but I'm pretty sure that HyuN knows about this. He's got creep all over the place. He's got overlords all over the place, so I'm pretty sure he knows about this. And here we go. He's sending up some units to defend the 4th base if he needs to. He's leaving the 3rd base pretty undefended. So this force, if they can get in there, they might be able to do it, but I'm not sure if the timing is right. He's going to pull away, and these forces, I think, they're just going to push in. I don't think they're even going to go back and defend. And here we go. STC moving back to defend this. And yeah, I mean, doing a pretty good job there. I'm not sure if it was 100% necessary for him to drop back. The bunker and the guys repairing it may have been enough, but I suppose it's better to be safe than sorry. But unfortunately, with these Lings having to go through, it's going to make it that much harder for him to hit this base. But these guys going in, these guys are all going to die, but it may give him the chance he needs to snipe this hatchery. And if he can snipe this hatchery, then STC has definitely won. An excellent attack. There he goes. He's pushing in. He's gonna go for the drones at the moment. So drones are good. I think the hatchery might be better, but you know, drones are still good. And meanwhile, these dropships managing to survive, managing to set some units down there. And HyuN actually chasing all these units. He sent his entire army to take these guys out, rather than splitting up his forces, and that has allowed STC to snipe this base out. So great job there by STC pushing this in, but I really think that was a major mistake on HyuN's part. He had a massive amount of forces. He didn't need all of them to take these guys out. He should have split off like a third over there, sent the rest down to defeat this hatchery. Even while this base was being attacked, split up your forces, send some of them down there. He's got a huge army, but keeping it all balled up when the Terran is hitting two different sides at once is just not smart. I mean, you got the numbers, you got the economy, but that was just a bad play right there. And here he goes. He's going to make up for that. He's looking to finish the game right here. But STC, with a decent amount of forces and with some siege tank backup, is actually going to do quite well. These workers are all going to die a very, very horrible death. And there's some forces over here which are never going to get home. But these guys are going to chase them away. And with the siege tank backup, I mean, this is a very decent number of tanks. 5 tanks right there. STC is really getting back into this game. He actually got quite a lot of units down there, so he's not really behind on the army. If you have a look at the income, he's behind, but he's not a stupidly large amount behind. He's lost a few workers, but he's continuing to get them back up, and he's doing a very, very good job. What are the upgrades? 2-2 for STC, and for HyuN is a 2-2 as well, with the Roaches 0-2. So, yeah, I mean, STC, when you give him a little bit of time, let him get his third base up, let him get some of the production facilities up, he's starting to be quite scary in this game. And yeah, HyuN is going to have to pick his game up quite a bit to be able to deal with this Terran player, because here we go, we're going in for the left-right again. This time HyuN being a little bit smarter. He's got his forces split up so he can defend both of those at the same time. He's trying to move out, catch these guys a little bit unawares, but they put straight into the dropship. And yeah, HyuN does not have any anti-air at this point. He's going for some high attack, getting some infestation pit down. But right now, he's doing a pretty good job. The Baneling's getting in there, but of course the dropship's picking things up all over the place and doing a great job. And yeah, STC is just going to have to keep going on with jumping in and hitting these bases as much as he can. He's doing a really, really great job of just doing 1-2, saving these guys with the medevacs. These guys are actually moving into the main base here, but that medevac is going to get sniped. And here we go, the army pushing back, and STC is going to move in. He's not taking all of them, he's leaving a few back, and I think this is going to be enough. HyuN just has such a stupidly large amount of forces that he can just keep a very small amount of his forces here and still keep off the drops. But yeah, STC meanwhile, with all this pressure, he's built out quite a lot of forces, and he's starting to get 3-3 now. And his tank numbers are getting quite good. So 11 tanks, that's not quite good. That is pretty awesome. And I think that HyuN is going to be in a lot of trouble here, because with this many tanks, he's got 2 hitting the front and he's got 3 defending the middle of this base. So yes, HyuN, if he comes in here, he is going to take quite a pounding. And he's got a ton of Banelings, but tanks, man, just so good against Banelings. And really, really going to start to hurt him. He's starting to get a Spire out here now. Oh, look at this. He's got a lot of siege tanks on siege, but yes, he does have a scan down there, so he's going to see them come. They're going around the other side. They're going to come in there. There's 2 tanks with a third to defend, and these guys are going to take them out, but it's going to give these guys time to get up and siege up, and then this army is going to be completely wiped out. He lifts up the base. The workers are all going to die, but this army just has to pull out. He cannot afford to move in here, otherwise it will just get shredded. And there we go. Lost a lot of Banelings, but kept his Roaches alive and killed a massive amount of workers. And that attack was awesome stuff there by HyuN. He didn't push in more than he needed to. He didn't push in the units he needed to keep in there. He used up the Banelings to kill the workers. He kept the Roaches alive. Great job. And he just took a sizable hit on the amount of workers for STC. And yeah, STC is going to be a little bit behind from that. He was getting up to the worker numbers, but now he is 20 behind. And yeah, that's going to start to hurt him after a while. And HyuN just has to play the macro game now. He just has to keep sending out wave after wave of units. Max out, then send in and do what he can. Max out, then send in and do what he can. Over and over again. STC trying to take this out, but he doesn't have that many units. He's got some reinforcements up there, so that base is going to get down. But meanwhile, just a massive amount of Lings. Roaches coming in. They're having fun with all these Marauders. And look at all these tanks coming back. They were going out to the middle, but they're returning. And the Lings are just so spread out now. And they're in among the buildings, so the siege tanks are not the best unit to be taking these guys out anymore. But if these Lings come back down, then yeah, should be able to sort these guys out with all these tanks, although he is unsieging them now. He's cleaned up that force, but man, HyuN is going nuts. He is targeting SCVs left, right and center. And he's lost some workers of his own. I mean, those drop attacks have been doing a great job, but in the end, I think the STC is just worker starved at the moment, and it's, yeah, he's not having a good time here. He's got a very, very decent army. I mean, if we look at active forces, he's actually ahead by about, what, 20... As I say it, HyuN just builds up another 20, but I'm guessing they're, oh yeah, Lings, man. It's easy to max out when you got tons of Lings, but then again, it's easy to kill stuff when you got tons of Lings, and he just keeps on going, man. Every time STC starts to push out, he sends 50 billion Lings into his base, and STC cannot hope to win in a base race with this massive amount of Zerg forces, man. He's going to try, he's going to give it a bash, but the problem is all these production facilities are going to go down in a minute, and HyuN has still got all of his production facilities. Lost this hatchery, but he is going to send wave after wave of banelings against this force and still be able to take out STC's main guys. Here we go, the banelings coming in. Where are the tanks? He's going to set these guys up, but the tanks are way behind. They need to be up there. He's going to lift a ton of these guys up. Definitely taking advantage of the fact that that HyuN doesn't have that many air units, and he's been focusing mainly on Lings and banelings and stuff like that, so he hasn't really built out a massive amount of guys. But yeah, the tanks going in there, they're going to be doing the slow push, and he's saving his forces here, moving into middle. I'm not sure they're any safer there, but he's not going to get taken out in a base race anytime soon. And the question comes down to whether or not HyuN can really do something against this army. There's no getting back from here. If he sends a Ling in and the Marauder dies, there is no reinforcements to help out this Terran army. It's just going to be this force or nothing else. And meanwhile, HyuN still has plenty of bases to build up. And here we go, the banelings pushing in. These forces, they're trying to defend the tanks as best they can, but a bunch of forces come around the back, and the tanks have just completely evaporated here. Just one left over, but it's got a cloud on it. Great job there by HyuN. He still had enough creep, and he ran in while he had the creep. The banelings and the roaches doing a great job. All of the tanks going down. Not much else left, so STC showing that he has definitely got it what it takes to play with the big boys, but in the end, HyuN, man, is just such a powerful player, and just, yeah. He back was a little bit up against the ropes, but he was pushing STC against the ropes the entire game, man, doing an awesome job. The constant Ling pressure, the incredible macro, getting a very fast fourth up, and STC doing some great jobs, really putting the pressure on, but every time he moved out his main army, his tank army, he just got 50 million Lings in the back of his base, and there's really nothing he could do to stop that. So yeah, HyuN with a really, really great strategy there, really paid off in the end, and yes, great job by HyuN, moving on to go on against the quarterfinals, and he will be playing against either Center or Lucifron. Now, I'm afraid I do not have those replays for Center versus Lucifron. Yeah, that is yeah, they weren't in the replay pack. I mean, yeah, so I don't have them. I cannot cast them. But when I start in the quarterfinals, when it's HyuN versus whoever else from Central Lucifron, I will post a link to the games from them. And yes, we will be seeing that, and yes, it will be pretty awesome. So yes, I will catch you guys later on when we go into the next round of 16, which is going to be Yu-Gi-Oh versus Daishi, or Daishi, I think it's Daishi. But yes, that's going to be another ZVT, bit of awesomeness. So yeah, I'm just having a look at the round of 16 actually. I think we've got every single matchup. I mean, we've got all of the mirror matchups. We've got all of the race versus race matchups, and yeah, really, really awesome stuff. So a ton of Protoss players making it to the round of 16, ton of Zerg and a ton of Terran. So yes, it's going to be freaking awesome. But Yeah, unfortunately, the TVT was Centre versus Lucifron. So, yes, I will put a link up to the VOD for that from the official site, and yeah, you guys can check it out. Yes, all right. Well, I will catch you guys later when I cast Yu-Gi-Oh versus Daishi, and yes, look forward to more awesome DreamHack Valencia action. We will be checking it out, and I will catch you guys then. This has been Hairy Muppet. I hope you enjoyed this game.